we're going to talk about 12 mistakes that you might be making or considering making with your music marketing, your branding, how you approach getting out to people. Because you got to do it. The music is half the battle, if that. There is a lot that's on your plate that you need to take care of and get good at. So here are some consistent mistakes that we see across the board, people doing on a daily basis. And you're going to recognize these. I guarantee you're going to recognize these in yourself and when you're flicking through, on Instagram or you're scrolling on Facebook, getting posts from spam groups of like people doing music stuff or whatever, and you look at it and you have that, critic in the back of your head that's like, what a chump. But chances are you're doing a lot of these same things too. So let's talk about 12 music marketing mistakes. Mistake number 1, confusing website design. Don't overcomplicate your website. Cut out all the shit. There's so much stuff that we see on band websites, and you don't need it. If you feel like you need to put a bunch of stuff like what you had for dinner and a 5-page autobiography and, like what the weather was like when you were born, like nobody cares about that. That's the kind of shit that you put on Instagram. They don't care about that. You need to have a singular focus. What is your website there to do? It's to bring in traffic. If they're coming to your website, they're probably seeing it from another source, like Facebook or Instagram or whatever. They click the link, they're here. So they're interested. How are you going to attract their attention and create some kind of a transaction on that website that leads to you getting their email address so you can contact them again for free? You need an About Me section. You need an intro. You need some type of, header image that's really catchy, and make sure the branding is on point. Like, be consistent with things like colors and images. Don't have 50,000 different colors. Like, pick 2, maybe a third that's like an accent color. Keep it simple. Have your social media links on there so they can find all the other places that you are, but it really doesn't have to be much more than that. Eye-catching, simple, and don't make it an encyclopedia all about you. You really just need them to follow you somewhere else, give you an email address, or buy something. That's it. So, mistake number 2, only using one platform. Are you building your entire brand and your entire music business on only one platform? Like, I really shouldn't have to tell you why this is a bad idea, but what happens tomorrow Facebook becomes illegal? How much time and effort have you spent on a now non-existent platform? Can you access any of the people that you've been interacting with on Instagram if Instagram were suddenly gone? If your YouTube channel got erased, taken over, do you have your presence distributed across a bunch of different platforms? Because when you think about it, people are only going to interact where they are. Not everybody who's on Facebook is also on Instagram, and especially vice versa. And it's very difficult to get somebody who's already on a platform for their own purposes and their own reasons to go somewhere else. You got to get them where they are. You can't first thing say, hey, come back to my place. That's creepy. You're asking a lot right out front. They're already doing something else. So you've got to meet them where they are. You have to go to where the traffic is and present yourself. Not in a weird way. Mistake number 3. Overthinking. You analyze things so much that you basically paralyze yourself. You go and take a shot at something. You think it has to be perfect every time. You think that music video has to be absolutely perfect. You think that new recording has to be completely pristine every single time. That shot has to be just right. Oh, the shading's a little off. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect all the time. You can overthink things. And if you're doing that, then you're not actually doing anything. You may feel exhausted, but you will look and realize that all you did all day was overanalyze and worry when you could have gotten like 100 things done. Done is always better than perfect. Launch imperfectly. Get the boat in the water and start plugging up the holes when you find them. It sounds crazy and dangerous, but like you're only going to get better when you figure out what is wrong, and you're never going to figure out all the things you need to fix unless they're out there being put into practice. So you don't want to be holding yourself back with a ton of regrets about all the things you could have been doing instead of worrying. You need to be building your brand. You need to get your voice heard. You need to use that voice to get an adoring fan base and get paid, son. You want to get so much further. You have to act. Mistake number 4. No calls to action. This is really important. Maybe you haven't heard of that phrase before, a call to action. But not having any link or just a simple call to action featured on your social profiles or your posts or anything, you're working so hard with getting content out there to get attention on the platform that you're on. You need to be able to take that attention and direct it somewhere. That, where else are you? What are you doing? What is the purpose? When we talk about traffic, especially online traffic, it's not like a bunch of cars that if you stand out in the middle with a stop sign, you can, they're going to run you over. It's a lot more like you need to be the road, or the traffic is a lot more like water, and you need to, make a little river going somewhere else where the traffic can see what else you're doing. And that's what it is. So if you've got a YouTube video and your focus for this month is to get more Instagram subscribers, then you make a call to action in the video and you put something in the comments saying, hey, come check this out on Instagram, or maybe we're doing a giveaway on Instagram. Come check it out, follow the link here. That's a call to action. You can't just hope that they'll see one video or one post or hear one song and just, oh yeah, I'm going to like everything, I'm going to follow everything, I'm going to be a part of this, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't work that way. You need to draw their attention to it. Because they could be interested, and then boop, that window's gone, the next video is playing. So you need to tell them what to do. If you want them to follow you on Instagram, tell them. If you want them to subscribe to your YouTube before they leave the video, tell them to do it. That's why all those annoying ass YouTubers are telling you to hit the subscribe button and that little bell notification. And I do it too. That's just a part of it, because they need to be told what to do. Otherwise, they won't do it. You just gotta ask. The worst they can say is no, and guess what? They don't even say it directly to you. So just ask for what you want. Mistake number 5. Pushing with content instead of pulling with engagement. Okay? So when we're thinking of ourselves like these content mills, basically, I gotta have Instagram posts 3 times a day. I gotta have this. I gotta have new videos all the time, blah, blah, blah. You're pushing out content. Crazy. But the thing you're not considering is that when you're pushing all this stuff out, it's like a waterfall. It's like a torrent. If someone's trying to get in front of that, they're going to get knocked over, and they're going to end up further away from the source. You have to pull them with engagement. You need to set your posts up to not just be me, 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 me. Look at my song and video. Who cares? Give them something, ask a question, what do you think? That's a start. But be specific. Like, what do you like about this video, or what do you do about this? Or, if they're responding to stuff, respond back. Comment on their comments. That's a simple one. You got to pull them in with engagement. If someone likes your stuff enough to comment on it, they're going to like it a lot better when they're actually realizing that there's a person behind it. That's somebody you want to stand up for, They're taking the time to talk with me. That's amazing. I'm just some shitty guy on the internet, and they make music. Well, no, they're a shitty guy on the internet too, just like you. So talk to them. That's the connection that you form. So you gotta have this mindset of taking a person from a follower to a fan, and you have to have engaging interaction with them. So be a part of your community and build that community. So mistake number 6, cutting yourself off from your audience. Again, another one that seems really common sense, but a lot of people on all sides of the scale, they end up hiding behind their logo or a private account or whatever. They disable comments on a video or something. If you want people to listen to you, you have to connect with them. If you want to connect with people on a musical level, why not give them the chance to connect with you on a personal level? You build a fan base, you build a brand by letting the community build with you. Give them something to latch onto. Don't think of it as here's this account. It's official and that's that. This is your direct line into the fan base. So use it, leverage it. Mistake number 7, posting too much or not enough. So what is the frequency of your posting? It can really go either way. You have to find that sweet spot. But if you're posting too much, you don't want them thinking like, ugh, here we go again. They don't want fatigue. Obviously, you want to get in front of traffic, in front of an audience, but you don't want to be the only thing that they see to the point where they block you because they don't want to see your fucking notifications anymore. That's not useful. That's not helpful. So find a really good balance between too much and not enough. Once a day is fine. Don't post more than 3 times a day. I think that's probably a pretty good rule, generalization to follow. So mistake number 8, shadow dropping or releasing without any notice. If you're releasing music, you don't tell people 24 hours before. Maybe if you're Beyonce, that works, but she's already got a massive following of like 1 billion people. You need time to build anticipation and get momentum and get people excited about what you are releasing. You worked hard on this. You're excited with it because you've had time with it. If it's all of a sudden now relegated down to one post on the day that it comes out, and then that scrolls by, that's the last chance that they have to find out about it. If you've been posting 2 times a day for 4 weeks leading up to that, guarantee people are going to have seen it at least one time. At least. And if there is, a countdown in effect, some kind of contest leading up to it, giveaway, that is something that is creating more anticipation for the final thing, along with the awareness. So don't just release it and let it disappear and then be like, oh, I can't make money with this. Boom. Like, you're not in a vacuum. You're in a thriving ecosystem. And you have to lay the groundwork to be able to attract that audience. So, mistake number 9, not owning your audience. This might sound weird if you're not familiar with the idea of how traffic works, but if you're on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or Facebook, you don't own that audience. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If those platforms were to disappear, you lose all those contacts. So they're not yours. It's like almost like paying a membership to go to a specific club and you interact with these people. But if that club were to shut down, how do you get any of that interaction with these people after the fact? So this is where you have an audience, you cultivate it in these different places where people are already hanging out en masse, and you find a way that you can contact them. That's the email list. That's so important for anyone doing business in any way. You need an email list because it is people who are interested in what you have and what you are selling, and you can contact them for free. 0 advertising dollars. You can let them know weeks in advance that you have an album coming out, and if you have 10,000 people on your email list, even if 100 people pre-bought the album, that's good. That's some good money before the album even comes out. Like, that's what you got to be thinking about, getting numbers on that email list and talking to them regularly so that they are an audience that you own, that is part of your community, and you can easily get to them. So always be engaging that email list and building it. No one's going to be able to get any of this information if you're not sending it to them. So, mistake number 10, ignoring changes on a platform. We all roll our eyes, when something new happens on one of our beloved social media platforms. And there's a new interface, there's a new feature, oh, this is happening, and you're just like, I don't want to do this. Why do you make me do this again? It's frustrating. Nobody likes it. But you need to latch on to those changes as quickly as possible. You need to be an early adopter of these new changes because the first in the pool always wins. Don't wait and find out how other people work it because they're already working it. You don't want your competition to have an edge on you. You want it to be the other way around. And an even bigger secret, if there is a new thing on a social media platform, they put it out there and they want to push it. So they will fudge the engagement rates and the algorithms to favor people that are using this. So you want to take advantage of that early. When Stories was brand new, You put out stories, that's the easiest way to get attention. We don't know if it's still the same. It's probably going down, and it might start to go the way of ads, where you have to pay for larger engagement. But the point is, when they started ads, that was a lot simpler and the prices were lower, so they could lure everyone in to use it. And once they could show everyone how effective it was, then everything changed. So you got to get in. Every time there's a new thing, you don't want to be frustrated. You want to be excited that there's a new opportunity that you can take advantage of and beat that algorithm before it changes. Wipes everything away. Mistake number 11. You're only talking about yourself. If you're only promoting yourself and it's every post that you have or every video that you have is just me, buy this, new song, buy this, you know, like if somebody comes to your Instagram, are they going to want to see a wall of advertising? No. They go to your YouTube page, is it basically just a bunch of ads? No. There's a reason there's a skip ad button on YouTube. They don't want to see that. They want to interact with you. You need something to catch their interest and engage them. Make them stay. Don't make them regret having gone to where you are. If you're pushing people to your Instagram and you have 2 posts that are back from March, don't expect them to stick around. Like, it makes no sense. Give them something to engage with. And this is the biggest one that we're always pushing. Mistake number 12, not choosing your audience first. How can you speak to people if you don't know anything about them? You decide who your audience is, who you want them to be. You write for the audience that you want. They are now a part of something because you're speaking out to them. You're not just writing random. This is such a huge core tenet of marketing and branding. And I want you to really focus in on that. And also, check this out. Boom. See that? Oh yeah. Get that a little bigger because it's super epic. I don't like how it's whatever. Look at that. A beautiful new logo for a beautiful new program. Infinite Musician Mentality Spectrum. There are going to be several different iterations of the Infinite Musician Mentality program. Spectrum is starting with mindset and musical approaches and songwriting approaches. Building your brand, building yourself as a musician, as a songwriter, gaining the mentality. How do you control your music? How do you speak to your audience? How do you convince yourself that you can do this? That is the infinite musician mentality. That is what we tackle in Spectrum. Now, this is really exciting. I'm super stoked because this has been a lot of work. And like I mentioned in the beginning, there were those 3 huge fundamental things that we needed when the band was potentially going to fall apart to bring things back from the brink, gain fans, get our music out there, make a real impact. But we didn't learn it in school. And that's something that always stuck with me because, people are like, oh, you went to music school. Wow, okay, crazy. It's like, just as much as I did about how to actually take all that knowledge and do something real with it. Like, that's the point. I went to try and figure out how to make better music, and I was asking myself the wrong questions because I wasn't asking how do I take my music and make an impact. If you can do that, you turn people into your army. They fight for you. Think about how loyal Radiohead fans are. That's that level where they shadow drop an album and it becomes the highest selling album of the year. Same with Beyonce. They get to that point. They know what they're doing. They know exactly who they are as a band, as an artist. So you need to figure that out too. So we're going to open up this. Nope, that's not it. This link. You can register for the workshop on Thursday. We're going to be talking about a lot of this important stuff to do with how to achieve your infinite musician mentality. And for the early adopters, there will definitely be a massive discount. Discount? I like value. Yes, you do, Billy. So we're going to have this up and running by tomorrow. I want you to go to this musicmentality.mfile.ca. You can get registered for the workshop, get information about how to change your music and change your life. Do the eyebrow things because it's epic. All right. Next segment. If you want to learn more about any of the topics discussed on today's episode, or if you'd like to expand your horizons so you can make the most amount of impact with your music, please be sure to check us out at mfile.ca.